Hello everyone, welcome to the next chapter, that is data structures using C++. So in this chapter we will be discussing about what type of data to be stored and what kind of element has to be stored under different containers, okay, or choosing appropriate type of container for the data, okay, what is that the data structure is going to do. So saying about the first thing about the data structure is we need to know what is data is. So many times we have defined the data is what. Example, we have defined in the data file handling what is data. We have also defined data in the database management system chapter, that is DBMS chapter. So here also we have the data. And anybody recall the definition of the data? Of course. The data is a collection of raw facts, figures, statistics, examples that need to be processed. So data is collection of raw facts that are calculated and manipulated by the computer system. Okay. So what for they are calculated, depending upon the type of information they have to generate, the data is going to be processed or manipulated by the computer. So to process the data should be organized. It should be in certain structure or it should be in some order. If the data is not arranged in some order, if it is scattered, like for example, I want the student information. Okay, instead of student information, I have father name, mother name, date of birth of the student, name of the student, roll number of the student. It is not arranged in order. So how the data should be organized? First, the roll number has to come, then the name of the student, okay, then the date of birth of the student, then the father name, then the mother name. So this is how the data has to be organized in a particular format, or this may mislead us, or the data that we are going to take up will not be arranged or not be processed in specific manner. So this leads to structuring of the data. That is the requirement of the data structure is structuring of the data or arranging the data in specific order or particular order is called as the data structure. So now what does the data structure combines actually? The data structure is nothing but a specialized way of organizing and storing the data. So we can call it as format of organizing and storing the data. What kind of formatting it will be? It will not be a normal formatting, it will be instead a specialized format that will be used for organizing the data. So the data structure that we are going to talk in a simple language, we can call it as organized data plus the operation on the data that could be performed. Now if I talk about an integer type of variable, what kind of operation I can perform on the integer type of variable? I can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. All these are the operations that could be performed on the data structure or the particular integer type of variable. Now in terms of programming or technically speaking, the data structure is nothing but combination of two things consisting of or making one thing. That is, a program is basically made up of data structure plus the algorithms that are the step-by-step solution for a given problem with a finite number of steps. So an algorithm that we have spoken here is a step-by-step finite sequence of instruction to solve a well-defined computational problem or a problem. That's the definition of the algorithm you have studied in your first period. So the data structure that we are going to talk in memory is equivalent to the storage structure, how the particular piece of data is arranged or stored under the memory. The data structure in the auxiliary memory, that is in the hard disk, okay, or CDs, is nothing but the file structure that we are going to store. The algorithm or the complexity of the data structure is calculated by the complexity analysis of algorithm is nothing but time complexity and the speed complexity, that is time divided by the space that is required. Now in the first PUC we have studied the characteristics of good algorithm is an algorithm which consumes less space and less time. Okay, such an algorithm is considered to be the best algorithm. So time depends on the algorithm, language, compiler, the CPU speed, etc. How the problem is being solved on the basis of this. So it is analyzed for the best case, average case, worst case depending upon certain inputs. So same computer or same environment when we take a same algorithm, same programming language, same compiler, a same CPU speed, everything is same, we will analyze based on the inputs how many possible computational steps does it takes for different input data. Based on it, I can analyze and say, if I give this input, this is the best case. If I give this input, this will be the worst case. And if I give input, that will be the average case, like that. So the space that is required to store the data, the space needed by the instructional of the programming space or the data space, even the environment, even the stack space also gives an impact on the data structure or time of execution. So that is nothing but the space complexity, and the first one is nothing but the time complexity, that is depending upon the algorithm, compiler and the CPU speed. The data, when it is to be classified in terms of data structures in C++, it is categorized into two different types. One we have is the primitive data structures. The other one that we have is the non-primitive data structures. The primitive data structures that we have studied in data types in first PUC includes integer type of data int, character type of data char, floating type of data float and double, and the pointers we have studied in the second PUC, because the pointer is a kind of variable which stores the memory address of another variable of its same kind. That means if the pointer is of integer type, okay, then it will store the memory address of the variable of the integer type itself. That's the classification of primitive data structure. Now we have classified this primitive data structure as simple or fundamental data structure in the first PUC. The next comes the new introduced for us is the non-primitive data structures, which includes the arrays and the lists. The arrays that we have studied in the first PUC is a collection of homogeneous elements, that is the elements belonging to the same type, and all these elements have to be referred by a common name, and the elements are referred by using the index which are enclosed within the subscripts. There are different types of arrays that we have is the single dimensional array, the two-dimensional array and the multi-dimensional array. Depending upon the number of subscripts we are using, the single dimensional array uses a single subscript where the elements are accessed by using a single subscript. Again, when we talk about the two-dimensional array, the elements are accessed by using two subscripts, each representing row value and the column value. Then the multi-dimensional array consists of more than three, okay, or two or more than two or three type of subscripts that we are using. Coming to the next classification in the non-primitive data structure is a list, where we have two different types. One is called as the linear data structure and the another one is called as the non-linear data structure. The linear data structure is a kind of data structure where the elements are arranged in sequence or in order, one after another. Whereas non-linear data structure is a kind of data structure where the elements are not arranged in order, but they are interconnected through several links or through several other means. They are interconnected. One element or one value is interconnected with another value. The different types of linear data structures are stacks, queue, and linked list. We'll be talking about this. Non-linear data structure includes trees and graphs. So we define the data structure as a specialized format for organizing and storing the data. So what we'll be doing, we'll be organizing the data in a specialized format. Organizing is arranging. Okay, storing is keeping in the memory. Okay, that's a specialized way. That's a data structure. And the classification we have seen is the primitive and the non-primitive data structures. Talking about the primitive data structures, what they are and how they are in the memory, they are stored in which format. The data structures that are directly going to operate upon the machine level instructions are called as or known as the primitive data structures. Now, what is this machine level, directly operating on the machine level? Now, directly operating on the machine level is nothing but they are built by or they are present in the language library or the language of the program, what they are. Now, such type of data is directly available. You need not to define the size, you need not to define the range, you need not to define the operation that could be handled on the particular data type. So we call that are directly operated on the machine level instructions. Such data structures or primitive data types are integer, int, float consisting of float and double data type, character data, that is char, and the pointer are all the examples of the primitive data structures. What are these? These are the primitive types which directly works upon the machine instruction. They are stored actually in the language. Now, what are the different types of operations that I could perform on the primitive data structure? That is the data that is already present or already built into the language library. Now, every data when you have, the data consists of certain operations. That is example, creation, destruction, updation, manipulation. All these things are common in terms of programming. So these are also common in the primitive data structures, that are various operations that could be performed on the primitive data types are, the first is the create, which is used to create a new data structure, that is declaration of certain variable, like for example float x. So x has been created belonging to the float type. It has got some memory space, 4 bytes of memory space. It has got some range. Okay, it has got some operations. So this operation, that is create operation, will reserve the memory space for the programming element that is been declared. So that is x. We have taken example belonging to the float data type. The next kind of data operation that could be performed on the primitive data structure is the destroy. So every value that has been constructed has to be destructed so that the memory space is been freed up for the further use or the usage of another kind of variable. So the next operation that we are going to perform is the destroy operation, which is used to destroy or to remove the data structure from the memory space, so that memory can be utilized or available for the other programs for the execution. When the program execution ends, that means when the work of the variables are done, the data structure is automatically going to destroy and the memory is being deallocated, that is removing of or freeing up the memory space, which allows the destructor, that is constructor and destructor chapter we have seen, which allows the destructor member function to destroy the object, okay, to remove the object from the memory. So that is about the second operation that could be performed on the data structure. The next type of operation that I can perform on the data structure is select. So when I have the data created, when I have the value within them, I can perform displaying of the data or updating of the data. That are the next two operations that we could do. Is among them, the third one is the select. So selection is a process where the programmer wants to access the data which is stored within the data structure or a data kind of a variable. So the operations that we could perform on this may be used for updation of the values or altering or changing of the values that are present in the data structure. So here we will be using the C++ language instead of other languages what we have. We'll talk about the C++ wherein the data can be altered or selected or updated by using or displayed by using the cout command. Okay, altered and updated, we'll see it later. If you want to select the command, okay, or select the values and show it on the displaying, it will be done by using the cout command. That's the third operation. The next kind of operation that I could perform on the primitive data structure is the update command. The update command is used to change, to modify, to alter the values that is stored under the data structure. Okay, that's the operation that I could perform, that is changing the data or changing the value which is present in the data structure. Now consider the first statement, int a is equals to 5. It is called as creating or create. So a has been created with an integer type of memory storing a value called 15. Now in the next statement I have a is equals to 75. Now what is this a is equals to 75? This is called as the updation or alteration or modification to the value. So the data has changed, okay, or the changes to the data structure has been done by the assignment operator. So this is the primitive type of data structure and its operation. So in the next class we'll be exploring the non-primitive data structures and the operations that will be performed on the non-primitive data structures. Thank you.